Avatar, The Way of the Water, even if it is a massive commercial success, it could still be a massive commercial failure. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel.
The humans are returning. They're hunting us.
So James Cameron has been talking about The Way of Water, which is about to be released in cinemas. And he made a bit of a throwaway comment that this movie is going to have to make at least $2 billion just to break even. Now, that is a big number. He was asked in the interview, well, how much did it cost to make Avatar: The Way of the Water? And he just sort of skirted around it and went, a crap load of money, and actually swore a little bit. So, this film might have actually, all in, cost nearly 2 billion quid to make. That is what we can infer from what James Cameron has said. So, first of all, let's think about how on earth did it cost that much to make before comparing to other movies that have been released recently and considering whether it's got any chance of ever actually making that money back. Well, initially, back in 2017, the budget for the movie was 270 million, but it was supposed to be on our screens 2 years ago. Well, obviously, it's had a crap load of overruns and a little pandemic there in the middle, which obviously hasn't helped things. But also, James Cameron has got a bit of a reputation for actually going above and beyond for his movies. Think about Titanic. Now, he could have, with sets and, special effects and things, made that movie for significantly less money. But instead, he decided to build a 2/3 scale replica model of the Titanic, snap it in half and sink it. Now, he didn't necessarily need to do that, but he did because it was what was right for the movie. And I feel James Cameron might have done the same here. And the studios will back him up, because what we have to remember is the first Avatar movie, with a budget that was reasonably modest, took nearly 3 billion in the box office. Now, that does include its current re-release, which has made around 100 million in the box office worldwide. So, Avatar: Way of Water making 3 billion again, piece of piss, surely. Well, since COVID, the cinematic world is completely different. Let's look at the most successful movie of this year, Top Gun: Maverick. Now, films, even Marvel movies, have struggled to make $1 billion, but Top Gun: Maverick made 1.5 billion nearly. Now, that really has been the biggest film of the year by a long stretch. No other film has come even close. So Avatar: The Way of the Water is going to have to exceed that. In the winter months, remember as well, this isn't a big summer blockbuster movie. This is being released over Christmas, when notoriously people don't go to the cinema as much. It's also obviously being released post-COVID. I think this movie will be lucky to make the 1.5 billion in worldwide box office Top Gun did. So that means it is set to potentially lose $500 million at the worldwide box office. Now, the list of movies that have lost $100 million when you adjust for inflation is actually quite long. There's a couple of Transformers movies in there. There's a Jupiter Ascending with Channing Tatum, who I'm going to come back to in a minute. And to be honest, the list goes on and on. The Postman with Kevin Costner. Waterworld, the first movie ever to cost $100 million to make, actually, if you adjust for inflation, broke even. Now, the list of movies that have lost $200 million is a little bit shorter. Now, the two main ones on that list are Cutthroat Island with Gina Davis. Which, depending on how you do the math, lost something between 150 or $200 million. And Disney's John Carpenter. Now, John Carpenter, for me, is actually not a bad movie, to be honest. Neither was Cutthroat Island. I thought they were advertised poorly, so people didn't really know what they were going to watch, and they just maybe released at the wrong time. John Carpenter, for me, just had the wrong cast. They put the wrong person in the lead. If they'd have got Channing Tatum, who I mentioned earlier, see how I've link these things together? If they'd have put Channing Tatum into the main part, and he was desperate to do it according to reports, then I actually think the movie would have done well. But they didn't. They put that guy in, whose name I can't even remember, and the film bombed. James Cameron's Avatar sequel could be set, even if it is a massive commercial success to equal the biggest movie so far of the year, is set to eclipse those losses massively. But do we care? If it's a great movie and it's a massive success and it makes $1.5 billion in the box office, do we care if it doesn't quite make enough money? Well, yeah, if you want to see a third one or a fourth one or a fifth one, or God knows how many other Avatar movies he's planning to make now, if you want to see those extra sequels, this film has to make money. Now, James Cameron in the interview actually said that this is possibly the worst business decision ever, and he must know this. He must know that by talking about it, to be fair, that this is potentially a problem. When have you ever heard directors talking about how much money the movie needs to make to break even before the film comes out? And if the film does lose $500 million in the box office, there isn't the DVD sales to follow it to try and make some more of that money back. Now, back in the day, when there were DVD sales, a lot of filmmakers weren't that bothered if the film didn't do great in the box office, because they knew it would generally do well in the DVD sales. Every Kevin Smith movie, ever, he kept being allowed to make movies because his DVD sales always at least eclipsed the box office receipts. So he always made money. There are no DVD sales anymore to make money. It is going just to go to streaming, which means the streaming service has to pay for it, and they will not pay hundreds of millions of dollars for Avatar, or it will not make hundreds of millions of dollars for the producers. So really, everything lies on the box office receipts, and it would be a miracle if they made their money back. And then what will be the result of that? We probably won't get to see Avatar 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or however many he's going to make. I mean, could you imagine if this is just a moderate success and only takes $1 billion at the box office? This could be the first film to lose $1 billion at box office. And now that would be a complete disaster. But guys, get in the comments, tell me what you think. Is Avatar: The Way of Water, for one, a movie you're desperately excited for? Or is it a film you're not really bothered? Like me, to be honest. I'm not really fussed. And welcome to beautiful North Wales. I've got a caravan up here, by the way, so every so often I'm going to be doing these little walkie videos, and isn't it a lovely sunny day? Yay, go North Wales. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, it really helps us out. And if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel even further, consider hitting that join button and becoming a fully fledged SciTrekker. As always, please stay safe. I'll see you next time.